Hello there, Darkman. Wow, you really did that at a really opportune time. How are you guys doing? I assume there's people in the chat. I can definitely see you, Darkman. How you doing, my friend? Good afternoon. Hello there, Kandra. How you doing, my friend? Are you doing good? That's pretty great. I've been having an interesting time lately. You know what? I'm bloody trying to track down like a Dark Heresy 2 book, and it's really getting to me. I'm absolutely scouring the internet for it. I'm considering looking on the goddamn dark web to find a copy of the Dark Heresy 2 rulebook. It's like bloody gold, man. I don't know. Even gold's not as rare as that. I could actually buy gold easier than I can buy that rulebook. Really bothering me. Yes. So that's my moan for the day. Besides the fact that our frontier is collapsed in the north. That also is a bad one. So there, Von Mulkey, how you doing, my friend? God damn, I won that rulebook. Yeah. How's audio? Were things loud enough? Would you like the music a little bit louder? Just let me know. Now it's only a few more minutes until we go to begin the stream, so at least we have some time. Operation Barbados Mark II. New and improved, now more streamlined as we have less men. Ah, corrupt man. You'll be able to do it. I mean, if it makes you feel any better, 160p is actually a higher quality than that of which I could draw for you. You enjoyed that. Roll for tanks. Oh dear. It's not going to be pretty. I mean, the Soviets are definitely rolling us over in the north, and yeah. There's not much I can particularly do about that. What is the term now? Flagellation? Flagellation? Flagellation. Flagellant? Yeah, I suppose we're flagellants at this point. I think that's the correct term. You know, the guys that basically whip themselves. That's basically what we are at this point in time. But we're holding, quote unquote, trademarked. Yeah, flagellation, that's the word. I tell you, I used to have a hell of a lot more time to actually read, and since I've been a lot busy as of late, oh god, my vocabulary is going downhill. I love Alanza. Will we witness the fall of Berlin today? No, we'll instead witness the fall of Vladivostok. Through Moscow. Moscow's for beginners. Indeed, sucker for punishment. Ah, dear. Oh dear. I mean, we do have manpower, it's just extremely depleted. Hello there, Grey Knight. Good to see you as always. Hello there, Fluff Bunny. I think it's the first time I've seen you in stream, so hello and welcome. You guys will be happy to know that I'm actually not feeling too much like I want to cough constantly today. So that's nice. I swear to God, it's a rough time when you have a cold. No broken foot today as well, that's nice. It's actually healed up fairly well, which is pretty good. Oh, you lurk most of the time. Well, it's the first time I've seen you commenting. Then again, I might have missed it another time, so I'll give you the benefit of the doubt here. Ah. Hello there, Camistar, how you doing, my friend? Ooh, nice, Decisive Campaigns, Blitzkrieg from Warsaw to Paris. I've actually not picked up that game myself. I'll have to try it at some point. Yes, you got damn right, the new Hauser. I always need people to be sarcastic and to point out failures. Otherwise, how do I learn? I mean, that's a really good point, actually. I do love it when you guys actually do criticize moves or give, like, reasons why you disagree. I love that. It really does help. How's the music? Is the music loud enough? That's fantastic. Yeah, we need the mod more than anything. Just wait until Lexington is sunk. That's fantastic. Just a minute now. That's what you'd like to think. Hello there, Jaculus. How you doing, my friend? Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. It's that time once more for the punishment to be meted out. Our forces are being pushed back quite, well, how do we describe something that's a rout without actually calling it a rout? Our steady tactical advancement to the rear is going fairly well. I mean, at the end of the day, the Soviets are giving us quite a good hand in actually moving our forces to the rear in a faster fashion. But things are more or less stable, quote-unquote, for the moment. We do have the means to actually fix the situation, but yeah, it's not going to be too great. I'm not kidding about that one. Right, okay. I've accidentally turned off some of the options here, so I'm just going to make sure we actually put those back on. Okie dokie. Right. It's also a good time to actually take a look at these. What I'm going to do is actually just reload the scenario because I accidentally clicked the wrong button here. That was me being rather silly. Oh dear. Great start. Okay, just ignore me making a few mistakes here. I'm sure the guys from Matrix will probably edit this part out. I'm sure you people have come to expect this level of professionalism from me at this stage. Right, here we go. Oh dear. I haven't really tried to play one of the Ish yet, quite intimidating. I'm not a very good player. I'm sure a lot of you will be able to tell you that. I'm okay, I can actually play the game, but I'm nowhere near professionals that you would find on the forum. But let's go over the situation then in the north. Now, we have been pushed back quite severely over here. I mean, the issue is the sheer amount of armoured fighting vehicles that we are facing here in the north. The Soviets do have the ability to employ large amounts of them in tight confines, I suppose you could say. For example, 516 here, 542 here, 286, which is actually some of the lower numbers. The thing is 348, 436. I can summarize that we might be facing around, let's say the north, about 5,000 armoured fighting vehicles, probably 5,000. I'm going to go with a conservative estimate of between 2,000 to 3,000 armoured fighting vehicles, but I would easily imagine there could be potentially more than that, maybe up to 4,000 to 5,000 armoured fighting vehicles here in the north. We can see here that we have 2 divisions that are routed and remain routed. We need to get them out of here and to the rear line so they can actually try to recover, try to bring them back into the foray. I do have an additional division that I could assign to a nearby command, so we could try to put some extra men on the front line here. The issue is that we're not able to dig in our fortifications really anytime soon enough. We do have new defensive positions being established over here. Need to establish one here in the following turn. Yeah, the fortified zones are... they're going to be extremely handy. If we take a look at the actual supply MP, I mean, the thing is, we do have pretty damn good supply, considering there's no extra MP to the actual railhead, which is superb. The only issue is the vast majority of our divisions, and even, yeah, if you take a look here, our core headquarters is lacking vehicles. They require 237, they only have 170. This is a situation that is repeated across the entirety of the Wehrmacht, at least across the entirety of the forces in the east. Yeah, lack of vehicles, it is a major issue. If I was to go over here to our logistics phase event log, we'll be able to see just how many supplies we are lacking. Let's see. We're doing well on ammunition, which at the end of the day we obviously do need. As you can see here, 13,690 tons of supplies required by units for consumption. Only 9,199 tons of supplies were consumed by a unit. So I can theorize that not many supplies are making it through to the front here. 3,189 tons of supplies consumed last week by units building forts. Yeah, I mean, this is the issue. We're actually using a lot of these here. A lot of these supplies to actually build these fortresses. But at the end of the day, we do need them. Of course, that does take into consideration all these units actually digging in, but actually constructing emplacements, fortifications. I love that kind of stuff. Right, let's see. Now we do have level 4 fortifications over here. We do have the 28th Jaeger Division as well as the 69th Infantry Division. They are currently holding on to Königsberg. The reason... I mean, I'd like to evacuate them, but considering the sheer amount of force that they're actually soaking up at the moment, it is actually doing me much more use, much more good to actually have them here. So for example, we can see here the first battle, 99,000 Soviet forces, 2,311 artillery pieces, 631 armoured fighting vehicles. We actually suffer very light losses, 125. The Soviets 596, and they lose 17 armoured fighter vehicles. A further 30 get damaged. They lose 30 bombers, 8 fighter aircraft. The second battle, our losses remain rather light, but you can see here, 41 armoured fighter vehicles damaged, 27 destroyed. We're actually racking up some decent kills over here. It's one of those things, would I actually consider reinforcing Königsberg? It may be worthwhile doing so just to make sure the city actually lasts out longer. Ultimately, it will be destroyed, that is the issue here at hand. But they're actually doing pretty damn good work over here. They're actually... I mean, if we take a look here, 651 armoured fighter vehicles in the second battle. Well, let's just take a look here. So we have the 29th Tank Corps, we have the 9th Tank Corps. 29th and 9th Tank Corps. You can see 14th Guards Heavy Tank Regiment, 88th Guards Heavy Tank Regiment, 85th Guards Light Gun Regiment. They're soaking up a lot of power. 1,156 armored fighting vehicles. That's that's a large amount of force. That's a very large amount of force. Okay. Hmm. 34 elements were damaged, 337 elements were damaged. Considering that we have 1,975 to their 6,609, you can see that's actually a reasonable number. Average morale. You can see here fatigue is obviously going to start to take effect. The experience is pretty good. What is their morale like? Has their morale actually risen since the attacks? 68, 64. They're actually not bad. I don't think it's worth assigning any extra support unit, considering we could do with them over here. I'm very much considering actually sending another division here just to make sure it actually holds out. If we take a look here, we have over 100 defensive power, which is really formidable. The X represents 100, so that's good to see. Right. Let's take a look. Can we actually evacuate any units this turn? 48 morale. I am half tempted to actually evacuate this division down here to Königsberg. It's only 7,870 defenders, a further additional 110 guns. Now, I'm going to do this. I know it's not the wisest move, but at the end of the day, the longer Königsberg actually holds out, the better. Can I actually assign these forces? Right, I was hoping I could assign them to a overarching command like Army Group North, or potentially the Army Group Center forces that we have here. But they'll hold. What do we have here now? Jagdpanzer, not many. A couple armored fighting vehicles, nothing to shout home about. But this should enable the city to hold another turn, at least. Be very good. Right. So we do have the 7th Guards Tank Corps, the 47th Rifle Corps, and the 36th Guard Rifle Corps. Our divisions here are really suffering. What I'm going to do is actually deploy these forces into this position here. Now, their defense is pitiful, to be honest. I do fully expect the enemy to break through. Okay, we'll have this headquarters just retreat back up over to here. This headquarters we'll have just pull back to this area. I do need to move out the routed divisions ASAP. We'll move them towards Danzig. They should be relatively safe at Danzig. We'll have them set to refit. If we take a look at their table of equipment. Yes. I mean, this table of equipment for the Volksgrenadier is it's already pretty light considering the numbers here. Only 9,909. And now considering the actuals 4,834, that's incredibly light. We're meant to have 14 assault guns, we have 0. We're lacking artillery, we're lacking basically everything that forms this division. I do have a 2nd Hermann-Göring Panzergrenadier division. Their table of equipment is actually respectable compared to a lot of other forces. Of course, they are lacking a lot of assault guns. They still do have 23. Self-propelled flak, medium flak AT. This is what we need more of than anything. Okay. They're not terrible. Yeah, respectable. At the end of the day, it's respectable compared to a lot of the forces that we have on the front lines, at least in the north. No additional support available for them. I will have them put towards the front line here. Okay. I need to build up some strength behind the lines. Move this division to the front. I don't have a lot of choice when it comes to the amount of forces available here. We do have some SS forces over here. The morale is it's not terribly high, it's not terribly low either. Occupy our position here once again. Yeah, this seems to be where they're going to be pushing again. I'll put the 2nd division here on the front line. Your headquarters. Okay, we'll move the headquarters a little bit further away from the front. It's getting a little bit claustrophobic here at the front. I could shift this division down over here as well. Move you to the front line. Move you to the rear. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, we have practically perfect supply. The thing that we'd lack really is the vehicles to actually move that supply back and forth. I do have the 610th Infantry Division available here. They could be moved to this sector, which is where we're going to expect a further breakthrough, I can imagine. Yeah. We'll move the Infantry Division up here. I do have some additional assets in the area, but not a huge amount. Move you over here to the actual rail line. Right. This situation isn't great. We did pull back from Lodz over here, which has helped to actually stabilize the line elsewhere. But considering the enemy forces bearing down on us over here, I do need to hold on to this town, and considering this rail line is... Right, it's unusable for the moment. But we do have only this other rail line here. So should this one fall, that is going to make our logistical situation even harder. Frankly, I don't have that many troops to actually fill in any of these gaps with, and that is becoming a more and more pressing issue. Thankfully, cities like Breslau and Posen have superb defensive fortifications, which is going to help us significantly. Now, the Red Army has pulled back slightly in this area. Okay. Anything left of the Luftwaffe? Well, if we take a look then. In theory, it's not doing terribly bad. Obviously, it's in a terrible shape at this point in the war, but as for right now, it's not too bad. I only have a few small forces really available in the National Reserve. I mean, these squadrons consist of 4 aircraft. It's really rather small numbers. Yes, it's absolutely awful to have that few aircraft here, these. There's no doubt about that one. Okay, we need to move you to the rear. Move you to the front lines. Headquarters, the rear. Further infantry in place. Okay. These units are a little bit spread out. I could do with actually moving further forces either down south. I mean, this is the issue. We have sufficient strength and power to hold here in this area to the north. However, this is very lightly held, and considering the amount of build-up that we're seeing here, it is becoming a rather difficult situation. We are being pushed back here. We're definitely being pushed back over here. I do have an additional division that could be deployed. It's not going to fix the situation, though. It will help, certainly will help, but it's not going to fix it. The 11th SS Panzer Army will soon be pulled back as well. So that's definitely not going to help out the logistical situation either. These troops are going to be pushed back. What I can do to help steady them is actually pull back these two forces here. Replace them in the front line with the actual additional infantry divisions. I mean, that's only 28 guns, it's nothing to shout home about. Move out. Headquarters down that way. I do have an additional division. Right, we'll have the army headquarters move back over here. I'll be Commander de Hair. The Luftwaffe is uncomfortably close to the front line. We'll pull them back slightly. These forces aren't ready, so I'm going to move them to the back line. Army group sent to headquarters will move you out to danger. Lazy factory workers are not producing planes fast enough. Indeed. Right, have you new Danzig? Okay, so I have an additional core here. That's nice to see. It's nothing special. That is an absolute fact. Right, we'll have you deployed down here. Can I have you assigned to the 2nd Army? No, we don't have that ability. Actually, keep you there so you're actually able to use your support elements, which you don't have a huge amount of. We'll have you moved over here near Bromberg. At least then you might be able to actually assist with the actual defensive fortifications being built here. Wow. Thank you very much for that, Fluffy Bunny. Right, 3rd Panzer Army. We'll deploy the additional construction battalions over here. We do have a K-39 gun battalion. Right, 4th Army headquarters. Right, Bromberg does need to be fortified, that is the issue here. If I move the division from Bromberg, we do lose the ability to fortify the city. Which is the nearest core? The Mountain Core. Right, we'll have you assigned to the Mountain Core. Hello there, Von Molky. What's wrong, my friend? Okay, we'll assign you to the Mountain Core. You need to work on Bromberg. These headquarters need to be moved further to the rear. The more fortified fallback lines the central axis of the attack. Oh, the more fortified fallback lines the central axis of the attack, the longer the push can be delayed. The game is definitely about delay. You are absolutely correct about that. I think at the end of the day, we do have to keep forces here on the rear line. These fortified zones will take a long time to even get started. The only reason I'm building them really is the end of the day it will start the process. We've really suffered due to the fact of not being able to actually dig in anywhere. To be honest, these units could be used effectively. You do have some movement. What I'm going to do is actually move you into Bromberg. You can actually aid in fortifying the city. Right, we can't unload you this turn, but next turn we will do. Right, I actually do have a good infantry division here. That's nice to see. I can't reassign you to another command at the moment. Right, your table equipment is actually not too terribly bad. Right. Have you move over here, start to ideally dig in somewhere. That would be fantastic. Okay. There's not a huge amount that we can do here. We just have to hold on. We will be pushed back. Ideally, we're not routed. If we're routed, that is a situation that is just absolutely untenable. Right. We do have the construction battalions. I am going to deploy them. We'll deploy the K-39 gun battalion. There we go. Wow. Yeah, they're not doing great, are they? Though we do have some 210mm howitzers that are actually fully ready to go. That's great. Yeah, looking for an image of someone scraping the bottom of the barrel. One danger is that the line of defense gets broken up and elements of defense get isolated. I mean, we did see that over here, actually, where our mechanized were actually, well, Panzer Grenadiers were actually surrounded and, well, they were cut off. Surrounded, forced to retreat, and they lost a huge amount of their strength in the scramble to get back to our own lines. And that was a really, really harsh blow. I mean, over here, it's just throwing absolutely nothing at the front line and hoping for the absolute best. We may just have to pull back here. I'm going to shift these forces over here. I mean, these forces are just pitiful. 45. I mean, your table equipment. I mean, you consider here 50, 59, 66. This unit definitely has the better table equipment compared to this unit over here. Its table equipment is absolute trash. So I'll shift these two divisions here. This division can be, well, moved back here. Now, I do have two Panzer divisions here. If they can't hold, then yeah, I doubt anything else will do. Indeed. Okay, at least the artillery is probably protected at this point. I could move these forces here. Well, then again, we'll keep them in position. God, the Holstein Panzer Division isn't looking exactly great. They do have some tank destroyers, thankfully, but only 9 out of 22. Now, we actually do have some captured T-34s in operation here. Nothing particularly heavy. We could assign a heavy Panzerjäger battalion, which is actually not a terrible idea. Right. This Panzer Corps is in command of quite a few divisions. I think what we'll do then is, let's see, can I assign anything to you? No, it doesn't seem that is the case. What I'll do then is actually assign some... Well, what do we have here? We have a Howitzer Battalion, Panzerjäger Battalion. Right, the 88mm anti-tank guns are fantastic. Is there only you that can benefit from this additional support? Where was it that I could actually deploy this additional support? I do have the additional SS core. Where are those assets? Definitely not here. For the most part, stand fast. Orders were for Festung cities. Which unit was it that I clicked on when I could assign additional forces? I forgot which one it was now. Okay. Interesting that these can only be assigned to the actual frontline units. I'll have it assigned to the Fjordoblight, well, be light Panzer Division. Oh, Panzer Grenadier Division. Though, do I just go with the actual Panzer Division? Jesus. Look at this, a Panzer Grenadier Division has almost as many armoured fighter vehicles as the actual Panzer Division. That's just awful. We'll assign some additional units here, try and make up the amount of armoured fighter vehicles. You can see that's actually brought up the numbers, something that approximates an armoured division. Now we do have Jagdpanthers here. These are very effective, as well as Jagdpanzer 4s. These are very, very effective. The Storm Artillery, or Sturm Artillery, these are very nice. You can see the difference in the armor. The Jagdpanther has significantly more armor. The Pioneers will be handy as well, but that does bring up their strength nicely enough. So I've given some ground here, so at least at the end of the day, we have retreated from a fortified position, but we're not going to be attacked by multiple divisions all at once. Okay, we'll have this division move over here to cover the rear. Have the Große Deutschland division move closer, well, and move closer. I do have these routed forces. We'll move them a little bit further away from the front lines. Let them to refit. They'll probably be available in the following turn. Ideally, anyway. No, I could actually have a limited counter-offensive here. Which is actually not a terrible idea, considering this may actually help us just reduce the combat width to some degree. Yes, it would be nice. Let's see, can I actually use my reconnaissance assets over here? I'd like to figure out what I'm dealing with on the rear line. I don't have exactly great information. Wow, that's all artillery. That is certainly impressive. The 163rd Division is looking pretty formidable. Yeah, take a look at the difference here of their table equipment. 82 is a pretty good number. Right. We'll have them forced back to the... Good, they do retreat. They do lose 18 armoured fighter vehicles, which is quite nice. We do lose one ourselves. That'll do, that'll do. We did receive support as well, which is nice. Okay, have that division fill in the gap. We're facing here... Guards Rocket Launcher Division, wow, impressive. Heavy Infantry Division launch an attack. Okay, they lose an additional 10 armored fighter vehicles. We do take quite considerable loss of infantry, however. I can move the Dresden infantry. And again, no I can't actually. I do have the 88th Infantry Division. It's going to be slaughtered, frankly. I could move in the Brandenburg Panzergrenadier Division, which I will do. Ideally, we try to actually make up the numbers there. We are dealing with a Guard Tank Corps as well as a Mechanized Corps. I'll move in the Panzers as well. Do we have any additional support I can give them? I could give them Motorized and Flak, which I will do. The Flak could come in handy. I'll give them the additional Pioneer. The Flak, what do we gain from that? Anything... Geez, only 3 88mm. So we can't expect anything particularly great to tank killing. Nothing great. The Flieger Corps does need to move to the rear. Well, the airfield anyway. Move these additional infantry to the front. The Mechanized Corps is actually quite dangerous. Okay. What I'm going to do then is actually spread out this artillery. Move their headquarters back. This headquarters can move to the rear. You need to be made ready for combat. Move these forces forward. At least we do actually move into a fortified position here. Wow, the Tatra Panzer Division is just completely pummeled. They do have a few decent armored fighter vehicles, but yeah. They're not doing great, are they? They haven't lost that many men, but they've lost a lot of their capabilities. It may be... I mean, they do have okay amounts of supply. They have a decent number of vehicles. I think it's just they've lost a lot of the competency. We do have a decent amount of artillery over here, which is quite nice, actually. It does give us something of an edge. At least we might have additional forces to aid in the actual fighting. I mean, this has helped us out quite nicely. It does mean I have a few divisions available to act as a sort of reserve. Yeah, damned if you do, damned if you don't. I think what I'll do is actually... Right, we are in the process of actually fortifying the city. That's not a terrible idea at all, actually. Not set to refit. I do need to actually hold on to these cities to make sure that even if the Soviets push through, that we're not going to be instantly blown away. I will put you on the front line over here. At least then there's less chance they'll be all routed as we have some additional numbers. We did deploy our mechanized reserve over here. They are doing okay, they're actually holding their line. The Soviets have actually shifted a lot of their strength out here. You can see here, I mean, what, 16... That's not terrible. I mean, sure, it's a Guard Cavalry Corps, so would it be wise to attack it even still? But, for example, the Rifle Division over here, there's not many Rifle Divisions. There's a growing concentration of Rifle Divisions in this area, which is signaling something big to me here. This definitely signals something is changing in the Red Army. They're definitely moving their offensive. It seems like they're shifting their forces more towards the north here. Yeah, 2730. Yeah, the 21st Panzer Division. I could give them additional infantry here just to help aid them. See, there's only a brigade here. Right, what we're going to do here, then, let's review the map. Krakow barely held on last turn. Barely. Considering the fact there's only a security regiment here, is absolutely astounding that Krakow didn't fall. Considering the headquarters there as well, that's actually even better. So we'll move these forces out of this location here. Army Group A will head to Ostrava. The Tetu Corps will have to move around about here. You need to be... well, I can't have you reassigned as of this moment in time. But we do definitely need to move forces in here. I might actually move some of the Panzer Grenadiers into Krakow itself. Okay, that will actually aid in definitely holding the city. We've moved in quite competent armoured forces there. I could shift some of these extra divisions down here now. And considering we are facing mountain divisions, which are definitely able to handle the rough terrain a lot better than normal infantry divisions. So it probably wouldn't be too terrible of an idea to actually move additional forces. The 17th Army could do with being moved away towards the rear. I'll move you towards Novitarg. How about additional support? That might be a good question. We do have construction battalions. We'll have them assigned while we have them. I can't give you anything right now. How about any of your frontline forces? If I could give additional forces to the 163rd Division, that'd be nice. I'll give them the Pioneers to help aid them. That may actually aid us in holding on here. The two divisions here will remain just to dig in. I'll have them set to refit while they're here, actually. Right, what I'm going to do then is actually shift this division down here. I could take the Panzer Division away. You're quite far away from your own home band. Yes, considering you're meant to be overway up here. And can I use the rail line? I can't use the rail line from here. Can I use the rail line? Right, I just need to shift them over to here, but I can use the rail line. We'll do that then. Do you have that capability to move via rail? You can? Fantastic. Right, I'm going to have you moved out over here. Can I take you off the trains? I can't as of yet. That's something manageable. I'll have them set to refit for the time being. Right. What I'm going to do then is I'm going to move in the infantry here. The Panzer Division is actually not looking too bad compared to a lot of the other Panzer Divisions. If we inspect their table of equipment, we can see here they have still a considerable amount of medium tanks, which is quite nice. Tank destroyers 15. We do need more tank destroyers. I need a lot of 88mm guns. They could really help us. What I will do is actually redeploy the armor to this location. I do have an additional division here. Right, we may be pushed back to, well, pushed back in this sector here. You can't move far, can you? We'll have one of these divisions reassigned in the following turn. Now, I could potentially pull back from this position over here. So I would be pulling back with the 18th SS Panzer Grenadier Division, the 544th Foot Grenadier Division, the 602nd Infantry Division. It would reduce the combat width, and it would allow us to actually make up something of a reserve. We'll do that then. They can't move terribly far, but that's not such a terrible thing. So we'll pull back the infantry divisions over here, as well as the Panzer Grenadiers. Shift you to the front line, well, the new front line. These forces can be set to, refit. There we go. Move you just here for the time being. Right, so I need to make sure they're all in actual supply here. Yes, that command was actually pushed back quite far. We'll move them up over here. The Red Army is really pulling back in this area. I could pursue, but it's not really ideal for me at this moment in time. So what we will do then is we won't push our luck. I'll move these forces over here. Right. We'll look at this in the following turn, but for the moment we're holding fast now. I do have the 10th Jäger Division. Frankly, I'm going to deploy them to the north, I think. This is the real danger zone. I think anywhere you have Russians on three sides, you take a step back. Yeah, the name of the game is to survive. That's not a terrible idea, actually. I mean, look at this. 4. Yeah, you're absolutely right. We need to rest divisions while we have the capability to do so. Then again, I do feel like this could be broken down. I'll have them assigned to the SS Mountain War. At the end of the day, there's a lot of offensive power that is being shoved down our neck here. And we do need to hold out. Can I take them off the train? I can, thankfully. Okay, that does give us some extra forces in the area that will fight tenaciously, ideally. We do have the 608th Division, which is reforming. We'll try and withdraw more and more troops from over here in the north. I'm going to move that security division onto this hex here, just to make sure we have some extra additional troops. We gave up all this land, we've surrendered the port as well. At the end of the day, they were making their progress, and it was making... well, yes, it was speeding up as well. Definitely an issue. I do have an additional division over here I could assign. I'll have it shifted over here. Move the headquarters further to the rear. Put the artillery on top. Right. I don't believe that infantry corps could push through. They might have the offensive power, but I think with reserve forces in the area, we probably should hold. Speaking of that, it might be worthwhile to have... well, these guys can't be set for that. I'll have them set to reserve. The forces where I think we can actually hold will set to refit. There's not many places where I can actually hold though, that's the question. But that is the fact here. Like, this is more than likely going to be pushed back. We'll have these divisions actually set to reserve. They might be able to make the difference by joining the battle at the right time. Yeah, that is a dangerous armored force. I do have an additional Volskanadia division. What I'm going to do here then is, let's see. I'll take the 615th. Actually, no, I'll take the 154th division. You can be moved here. I'll take the Holstein Panzer Division. They can be shifted over here. Right, they were interdicted, but the Soviets did come out of the losers over here. We do have a decent amount of AA in the local area, as you can imagine, as we do have a lot of forces here. I'll move the 95th Volksgrenadier Division here. At least that way, if the 6th Guard Mechanized Corps as well as the 5th Tank Corps do try to advance, at least they're going to be moving into something that's armoured, that does have the capability to react. Okay. Overall, we do not have enough troops. That's easy to see. Though we are starting to make some gains in local areas. Being able to push here in the south is actually helping us out considerably. If I do advance to a better position, like over here, this would be amazing to these mountains. If I could make it to these mountains, I would be very, very handy. They do definitely seem to be moving more and more force to the north over here. So I can imagine we are going to lose a lot of forces. So here's my prediction for the next turn. We'll see at least 5 divisions routed. So at least 5, that was my bet, at least 5 divisions routed. We'll go forward into the following turn then. And we can expect to see a lot of pain. This is not going to be fun. I'm very much not looking forward to this. Sorry. At the end of the day, we just need to focus on delaying them. If I can delay them until we have something akin to a defensive line dug in, then we'll have a hell of a lot more staying power. Oh, thank God they held. We actually inflicted quite good losses upon the enemy there as well. Right, we are forced to retreat here. Somewhat surprising considering the presence of the 16th Panzer Division. Yes, now we're forced to eat. We do hold here. We do actually inflict some good losses upon the enemy. The issue is they have overwhelming numbers of armoured fighting vehicles. Yes, as I imagined we'd be forced back here. We can see that a division has been routed. You can see there was over 1,000 armoured fighting vehicles, as well as over 1,000 here. Yeah, there's an additional couple divisions routed, so we're up to 3 divisions routed so far. Unfortunately, the 9th Jaeger Division as well. We do hold here. We do actually destroy 27 armoured fighting vehicles, though we do lose 10 ourselves. That's actually quite a large battle. 1,000 armoured fighting vehicles here. We're forced back. The Grosse Deutschland Panzer Grenadier Division is forced back. Right, 43 vehicles destroyed. We do lose a lot of men in the battle, however. Right, routed, so we're up to 4. And forced retreat. That's an additional 2 routed. Okay, we're past the 5 divisions routed so far. Bloody hell, they did well. The Soviets are reaching our second line here. Ideally, we hold this second line. And they force a gap in my lines to the center north. Right, we do hold here. We do destroy some armored fighting vehicles, not many. We're starting to inflict some good losses on the Red Army in certain locations. Really can do without these divisions being routed. The morale is so very poor. Another one routed. How many are we up to now? They're definitely sweeping me aside here. Yeah, there's not much I can particularly do about that. It is definitely breaking through my lines. They don't have a gap to exploit as of yet, but they are definitely breaking through any pre-prepared defenses I do have. We may have an opportunity if they do press too deeply. We do have mechanized forces on their flanks. That would be a dream to cut them off. Even for a turn, it might take the wind out of... Wow, okay, that's the Brandenburg Panzer Grenadier Division. We also see a Panzer Division routed. The weather needs to change. The weather needs to change very, very soon if we're to have a chance here. Our headquarters is unfortunately pushed back, which doesn't aid our men here at all. Right, yeah, this is definitely turned into a breakthrough. The issue is that I'm going to have to respond to this, so we may have to make a massive movement to the south, or we may have to move our Panzer Grenadiers. Again, retreat. I honestly expected them to be shifting their focus to the north, but then again, when they do have over 1 million more men than I do, I suppose they can actually choose. Right, we are holding them at the flanks, so at least that is something. If we hold them by the shoulders. Continue to hold men. I really can't afford to be pushed back here. If we still have the port under our control in the following turn, I'll try to evacuate those units. I need to evacuate units from Kurland into East Prussia. At the end of the day, they do have some decent morale. Ooh, that's not good. They have a breakthrough here. Yes, we need to evacuate troops, otherwise we are going to be too tightly hemmed in. Yes, this is not good. Yeah, we need to be careful that they don't get a bridgehead. Oh, Jesus Christ, I honestly expected these forces to hold out longer. I've just not had the chance to actually establish fortified positions here. Thank God that port held. If we'd have lost the port, it would have been game over there. The front has been devastated. We need to get out of here while we absolutely have the chance. They just absolutely devastated my men. Absolutely devastated them. Right, Königsberg. Now the fortifications are reduced. I'm not fearful of actually losing the city yet. Now, we do lose 468 men in this attack. We do have a increased garrison now, about over 40,000. Well, was over 40,000. We do lose quite a lot of artillery in the battle here. Look at these numbers of aircraft. 283 fighters, 128 bombers. They do lose 45 bombers over the city, an additional 8 fighters. We do lose 21 bombers here. I'm surprised we didn't lose more considering this many fighters. We are absolutely seeing the sky hunted out by bombers and fighter aircraft. They do lose 19 armoured fighter vehicles, additional 42 are damaged, but just look at these numbers. I can't effectively handle these numbers. The only way I can deal with it is in these fortified city centres. So an additional 22 are destroyed, an additional 28 are damaged. But we are losing more and more men each time. An additional 5 fighters shot down, another 16 bombers shot down. But when we are losing this many men, it's not going to be too long before they start breaking us down to the point at which they can break through. You can see why I'm actually glad to be holding on to Königsberg. Yeah, it is a disaster, considering the fact that they went in there with absolutely no escorts against almost 300 fighters. They lost a lot of men there. That's a lot of men lost. That's another division routed. Yeah, that was a fortified position as well. We lose over 1,000 men. We've lost too many divisions here to be routed. I don't know how they thought that was going to work. But even then, we're still losing an reasonable amount of men. Königsberg will hold out for maybe 1 turn, maybe 2 turns longer. I needed to hold out as long as possible. At the end of the day, this city is actually soaking up a lot of forces that would have been otherwise directed at East Prussia. We're not having a good time here. Things are really starting to fall apart. We do have isolated, well, instances of our forces holding on. We need to delay them, but when they keep routing, it really does not help me at all. We have at least... Well, we have one definite breakthrough by the Red Army. We have a second probable breakthrough by the Red Army. This might be a third breakthrough depending. We do have forces on the ground. We do have a second line of forces which is very lightly manned. But at least it is a second line that may contain the breakthrough for the time being. We'll have to fall back again. That's the issue. Our forces trying to establish a defensive line on the River Vistula just do not have the time. I doubt anything has been done. And the Reich, he must hold, and they're not. They're being routed. I've lost count of how many forces have been routed here. And I can see, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, they were scouted, so at least they've actually held that attack in check. The 19th Panzer Division is forced to retreat. I need the weather to change. Yeah, this is it. The north is just absolutely falling apart. I did not expect the 5th Panzer Division to retreat so easily. Then again, I suppose they were attacked by large numbers, but these numbers aren't that large. '19th retreats again. So many forces routed. An additional division routed. Yeah, our morale's definitely dropping over here. It may be due to the fact that they've just simply lost so many battles. I may just have to fall back to the Vistula. The thing is, if I fall back to the Vistula now, we have no defensive positions anyway. The river is still frozen over, so it won't present an obstacle. 1,000, closer to 2,000 men managed to push back almost 16,000 men. That is pathetic. We almost formed a tertiary line formed of routed units. Yeah, the north is rough, to say the very least. Trust me, I'd rather have them not take a single step back, but we don't have much choice there. We'll have to try and reinforce the north with any men that we can actually rescue for Army Group, well, from the Army Group North. Whatever can be taken will be saved. Whatever is remaining will be destroyed, but we need to get men back into this. I've lost the city there. Yeah. Yes, and they've actually occupied the city. I'm not going to get that back anytime soon. But we may be able to occupy this position. They're definitely shifting forces. The thing is, as they shift forces in the south, I'm saying, oh, yay, yay, yay. We've got something here, but at the end of the day, I need to transfer this Panzer Division out ASAP. We need to transfer basically any forces that aren't directly, desperately needed. I still need to transfer the Panzer Division out. We simply cannot hold the centre without it. We simply cannot hold the north without them. We have been pushed back, so that's fine. We're going back to our status quo. True, there's no victory points over here, but at the end of... Jesus, that's cut the rail line as well, making things more difficult. I was hoping that we'd be able to try and push the Soviets back, so I'd be able to establish a better defensive position. The thing is, if I pull back over here in the south, it's like, what point do I stop falling back? If we fall back too far, we do lose the mountains. I still have the Tatra Mountains over here, but they'll then start to move into the plains towards Austria. Well, we're past my birthday anyway. Of course, the pain's still not over. Wow, okay. So, how many divisions were routed there? Did anybody keep track? Because I lost count. We're not that many turns away from the actual end of the scenario, so we may still win the scenario overall. But yeah, the losses here are catastrophically bad. Jesus. We can still hold the line. Not very well, but we can hold it. So since my last turn, 29,000 men have been killed. That is a huge number. Absolutely huge number. A further 21,682 disabled, 1,692 captured. I do not envy them. They're going to be heading straight to the Gulag. The Red Army, 46,924 men killed, 163 captured, 16,644 disabled. They've lost 657 armored fighter vehicles. I've lost 273. These numbers are just not working out for me. Sure, we've destroyed nearly 6,000 armored fighter vehicles, but this isn't just... it's not enough. Nowhere near enough. In the air, things are looking okay. I suppose we've had a few. But then again, you consider that we lost 106 tactical bombers. That's a lot of actual aircraft. But the Reds did lose 185, 95, 48, 72. The 402 aircraft lost this turn. Then again, considering the massive 4-to-1 ratio they have in terms of aircraft, it's not going to matter. Okay, so we still have routed units here. This is not good. We've only got fortifications here. Fortifications here have not even been started, considering the lack of numbers. Ah, jeez. Time to unleash your secret, Wunderwaffens. That's not where you want to be. You really do not want to be there. This situation is terrible. We do have the port. We need to get out now. Yes, we need to evacuate whatever can be evacuated. We probably do have some ME-262s at this point. I just don't think they'll be of any use. Right, where do we evacuate to? We're going to have to evacuate to Gdina. Take you off the ships and move you out. Ah, jeez. Okay, move these divisions out from over here. You are going to be put onto the front line to start digging in now. Not like it's going to make a difference in this world. But I need space. I should bring in additional reinforcements. Well, additional survivors, I think the question... well, the term would be. We do have some decent divisions that need to survive. Whatever we can get out, we will get out. At this point, we just simply don't have the luxury to choose what survives and what doesn't. Right, they can move slightly. I need to move them beyond the port here. Yes, there's only... well, there's 18 turns remaining here, unfortunately. Sorry, 8 turns, just 8 turns. We are winning in terms of victory points quite heavily. But this will start to change as obviously the Soviets do capture additional cities. They've only gained Memel because I gave it to them, to be fair. They're getting a lot of their points from actually destroying my men, however. I think we'll win in terms of victory points, thankfully. We have managed to hold them far longer in the centre, but things are just looking poor. So very poor. Oh, no. Oh dear, okay. Right. They're definitely pushing hard here. We may have an opportunity to cause some havoc behind their lines. I may consider actually trying to brush aside these divisions and trying to dive in towards their rear lines here. At the end of the day, that may actually halt their offensive, or at least distract them. But frankly, the Sudetenland Mountains may be a good position to fall back to, but Breslau is definitely threatened here. Our forces here to the south are looking like they may be cut off. We may have to establish a new defensive line rather far back here, and I think that is definitely going to be needed. The issue is I'll have to surrender Krakow, which is that a actual objective? Is an objective city. I think that's the only thing we can do here. We need to fall back in the south. We need to fall back as far as we can in certain areas. We must have men to fill in the gaps. We must take men from across the right to fill in these defensive inefficiencies, inequalities. We need to have equality and diversity of units across the line. There you go, that's a new campaign. Oh, dear. Wow, they lost quite a few units over there. That is a lot of lag. Have you guys ever seen the scene from Enemy at the Gate? You know when they're crossing the River Volga, and you see them, the ships that are being strafed by, obviously, like Stukas and different aircraft. They're basically being thrown across onto the bank and told to take a rifle and take position and hold to the last. Well, yes, this is a similar situation where we're taking forces from Army Group Kurland, well, I suppose we could call it Army Group North or what remains of it, and we're taking them to Germany and saying, look, man, you need to go to the front line. But there's no time to rest. Oh, it's a great scene. I absolutely do adore that scene. There's actually a film I want to watch now, which is The Death of Stalin. I can't wait to watch that. I might watch it after stream, to be fair. It looks hilarious. Okay, at least we are moving out additional divisions here. So we'll at least have something to actually shore up our defenses with. Probably should have done this some time ago, to be fair. We might have been able to hold on. I mean, this is going to compromise this area, but frankly, they're bucket anyway, so we need to get the hell out of Dodge. Thankfully, the port is still open, which means we can actually evacuate additional troops. Yeah, the reviews are really good. So far, we've managed to rescue, what is this, 4 infantry divisions, a armoured division as well. That's a good number of troops. We do have this brigade here, this Fortress Brigade, but they're going to have to hold on. I do have the infantry here that must be moved to actually fill in this gap. They're not going to be able to manage it, but they have to bloody well hold. Rather than lose the men, I'm going to disband the unit. It returns their element to the actual replacement pool, so that's better than nothing. The Panzers and the Panzer Grenadiers are absolute priority to be saved. We need to get them out of here. We do have a few Focke-Wulfs over here as well. Quite a few of them. I could do with having them reassigned. I think I will do that while we have the opportunity to do so now. Right, we'll return you to the actual reserve. Yes, they could still fight, and they might still have a chance to do so, but at the end of the day, I'd rather not lose this aircraft. So we're going to send them to the actual reserve. I need to save this support. But ideally, I get the commands out of here as well. I feel for you, man. I feel for you. You've achieved a lot of victories, but frankly, yeah. The defeats are what matter here. At least it should make our logistical situation a hell of a lot easier and more simple. Or simpler. Right, move these units to the front line. Okay. What I'm going to do then is move the 4th Panzer Division out as well. Do you have that ability? Right, I can't... Well, actually, that might be why. Okay, the 4th Panzer stayed. Now, the 12th Panzer Division. They do have a decent amount of Panthers and Panzers. Jagdpanzers as well. I mean, these are the pieces of equipment I need to save. Though, frankly, I'll try to move the 11th SS Panzergrenadier Division out of here. Above all, the port needs to hold. Right, looks as though that's all the units I can move here. Well, we're moving forces to the port, which is the best move, to be honest. Move these forces here to the rear. Okay, we'll move back and reinforce where we can. That Fortress Brigade is pathetic. Well, pathetic. The issue is I'm running out of room here. And that's an absolute fact. But that's a lot of extra support here. Okay, send the security regiment out of... Yeah, didn't mean to do that. Oh, thank God I can go back. The thing is, the port's going to fall next turn. And there's very, very little I can do about it. I may actually disband these. I'm going to disband the airfields. They're taking up valuable room here. Okay, disband the airfield. Oh, no, I can't. I can only disband those squadrons. This is going to collapse. It's absolutely going to collapse. Ferdinand Schirner. Schirner. I've managed to save what I could over here. At least this time. We'll be able to get additional forces out of there ideally, but how many is a different question. Right, they need to be moved. Okay, at least you can move out here. Okay. Well, they're buggered. The thing is, it's going to cost me a lot of administration points. Some heavy artillery as well, though. We don't have any 355s left. We still have the 305s, however. It's a shame. It is a shame to see those go. Do need these administration points, that's the issue. Is there any way I can move you out? No. What I'm going to do here is actually set these units static. You can see here they don't need vehicles any longer. Considering they're not going to be going anywhere. Okay, I've gained some vehicles back, at least. Now, what is the fork? Oh. Oh, ladies and gentlemen. Thank God for that. Thank God for that. The only issue is... Right, so we're going to see clear weather over here. Oh, thank God for that. This area is going to be snow. It's going to be mud. It's going to be mud next turn. Thank God for that. Okay, that's brilliant. That changes a lot of things. We have one more turn of absolute agony. And then, and only then, we may have a chance to actually start to re-establish something of a front line. We need to hold on to what ground we can here at this point. And then we'll have to fall back. But we need to fall back where we can now. There's simply too many Soviet forces for actually to hold on to something here. But yeah, Mother Nature is going to save us at this point in time. I think what we may have to do is legitimately fall back to the Vistula. The issue is, though, I can't, because if I do too early, I lose too much ground. We have no defensive positions anyway, and it's going to hurt us even further. We've got to hold on with whatever we have available here. Whatever the cost, we must hold. I have too many forces that are routed. A lot of them are decent as well. I mean, the Night Jägers would have been fantastic to have had. Jeez. I do at least have an additional 2 divisions I can throw here to the front line. And I'm not kidding when I say throw. We are throwing them to the Lions. Also known as General Winter. If I can hold anywhere... If I can... Yeah, I just need to hold on some of these hexes. I'm actually considering the panzers here, having them shifted down, which will mean this will be broken through, I can imagine, as well. We need to hold on to the Breslau area. Right, that's very, very weak. The issue is that would be checked over here. If this was weak as well, I could have actually potentially tried to make a move towards the actual rear echelon here. That would have disrupted them really badly. Okay, we need to move our panzers. Move here. Berlin is not too close, the calendar is still on your side. I mean, at least once we are pushing back beyond the Vistula, we do have the advantage of some actual pre-prepared defensive positions. We do have some formidable fortress cities as well to draw their attention. So at least we have that going for us. Königsberg still holds, and it is standing resolute for the time being. It's been reduced to level 3 fortifications. It will go in time, but it still holds on for the moment. When you look at all these forces, it's actually drawn the attention of that. It's actually doing a hell of a good job actually holding on there. Jeez. This is where we need to redeploy these panzers. This is a massive breakthrough. I need to hold them from the north. This area we can actually recover on as we'll be pushed back into the into the Sudetenland Mountains. This area is the critical area. Offload them. At least now they can actually participate in full combat without being decimated on the trains. Right, let's see how we can fall back here. I think we'll fall back to this rail line, roughly. Krakow is going to be abandoned. I can't hold it. I think something like this. Fall back. At least then we'll have additional forces that I can move elsewhere. And the Carpathian Mountains here, and the Tatra Mountains, as well as the Sudetenland Mountains, will prove to be very handy. It does mean I can actually use only really a single division relatively well to hold on to additional, to hold back additional forces. So we'll begin the fallback. Well, the retreat, I should say. It's going to take time considering I can't move. Right. I can move back in and move additional forces out of the area. So I'm going to move back and... we're going to move an additional 2 division. And again, if I could move the panzers out, I think I need to move panzers. Armor must be met with armor. If I can shift additional infantry forces over here from the 17th Army, redeploy the Panzer Grenadier Reserve Corps to meet this head-on. This is a significant amount of panzers. We need to check it. We need to... So this is basically how it's going to work. This is the head. This is the offensive. These are the shoulders. We need to hold the shoulders and check the head. Then I can blunt that offensive. We will hold this offensive. There's no two ways about it. We will hold the offensive. It's going to cost us. It's going to cost us a lot, but we will keep it in check. Right, I'm ready. Hold back. I'm going to continue to hold on to the city here. The reason is it's a very good strategic position. It does hold a lot of supply and it is supplying our forces in the area. At the end of the day, this is actually helping out my men here on the front lines. The ones that don't have easy access to actual vehicles or the logistics. Jeez. Too many men have been routed here. Too many. But you have no choice. Frankly, it's a waste of time having them on the front line. Okay, they have pulled back in certain areas. I am going to take these panzer divisions, we are going to move them here. We can check the offensive, we can do this. Right, they've shifted their forces over here to the north, which is rather intriguing. I can definitely hold this here, it's not going to be great, but they've definitely shifted the vast majority of their armoured forces down here. This is just a nightmare. This is not going to hold. It's just not going to do it. The battered units between Southeast and Brezan need to be replaced. They definitely do. They've lost so many battles due to them being just overwhelmed. Let's see, if we take a look at 4th Panzer Army. 64 victories, 88 defeats. Ninth Army has suffered horrendously. He holds. On March 30th, 1945, the front line was on the Oder, not the Vistula. The Soviets are definitely behind schedule, but the thing is, we are definitely suffering here. We can continue to hold them, and we will hold them. Once the weather changes, we will hold them. It's definitely going to change up the situation dramatically. These rivers will definitely pose a much bigger obstacle to the enemy. They're going to find it significantly easier to move once the weather turns clear and the mud dissipates, but at the end of the day, there's going to be some time away. It may give our forces the desperate time they need to actually start to dig in. We are going to take the 2 panzer divisions, but what I need to do then is just arrange the infantry as best as I can. Anything armoured needs to move here if we can afford to do so. If we take a look over here to Königsberg. Look, 5 attacks. Just look at the amount of forces there holding up. It's a massive amount. Okay. Some added 80 would be good for the infantry, definitely. It would be amazing. Right, I can shift forces from the 17th Army. Okay, what I can do here then is I'll shift you. The Ski Jaeger can hold. Okay, we'll get you out of here. I'm moving what additional assets I can into the area. Now, sadly, I can't take them off the rail. What I'm going to do is, I know it's a little bit cheating, but I need them off the rails. Wow, okay. I don't have a lot of rail capacity. Okay. Abandon the city. Or do I? Move an additional 2 divisions. Predicted. Okay, I've been able to take them off the actual trains here. So at least the city has been rather heavily reinforced, which is nice. Move that division here. We'll move the artillery to the north. Right then, so if we actually take a look at the actual terrain here. So the Red Army... to their position here. If we do have the forests, at least that's something here. I do have a decent amount of forest. The issue is I don't have anything here that's really hurting me. I'd imagine the Reds are going to advance something like this. That would be the best possible terrain for them to move on. They do also have a lot of rail lines that they can actually use to support their advance. They may continue to choose to go straight here. I think that would be... in some ways it'd be the best case scenario. As at least if they keep pushing us towards the Sudetenland Mountains, we do have a great defensive position there. It will obviously make it harder to keep the south and to keep a coherent line. But at the end of the day, if they head north like this is going to cause me major issues. Okay. The 17th Army here is doing definitively better than the 9th Army. I do have a lot of forces I could actually pull, which is great news. And we're going to have to just put them on the front line just to make up for this. Then again, I could have them maintain something approximating a better combat condition. These they're going to fall. We'll shift them up the line. Right, we can move the 18th SS Panzergrenadier. We will hold this offensive back, we will do it. And when the weather changes, whoa, that's when things change. That's when things definitely turn to our advantage. The 17th Army is definitely going to come to the rescue here. Eighth Panzer. No retreat. Definitely no surrender. And she's probably worthwhile holding to that rail line. We'll pull back in the south as we can. Now we do have the ability to actually redeploy our panzers, which is great. Have you supplied? Have you applied the not one step back directive? Do the Soviets have supply trouble because of railways? They will be having issues with the railways, considering they have to convert them over. But the Soviets do have a surplus of vehicles, so they're not going to suffer badly at all. Okay, you're going to be withdrawing soon, but at least we have a decent number of armoured fighting vehicles to actually keep this offensive in check. Great. Really, really good. I need them really around here. What I can do then is I can bring the SS Panzer Division and the 17th Panzer Division to this area here. Okay, panzers need to be moved here. Right. I think when we redeploy the Panzer Grenadiers here from the reserve, we'll have enough force. You've got to imagine, this is a massive throw of the dice for me. This is actually concentrating a huge amount of armoured fighting vehicles. I am definitely weakening myself across the front here. I may fall back across the river to actually gain just some distance. The Große Deutschland Panzer Grenadiers are holding. They actually do have some Tigers embedded, which is really nice. Durham Artillery Brigade, I'll give them that. Great. That's actually nice to see some further assault guns there. Okay, what we're going to do then is we're going to fall back here in the center. Fall into the trees. Get in this position here. Have you reassigned? At the end of the day, they just need to make the numbers now. I'll redeploy the Panzergrenadier division here. That should hold. Have a Holstein Panzer division ready to give aid. The Große Deutschland Panzergrenadier division. Panzergrenadiers. Okay, fall back across the river. Yes, I'm surrendering a rail line here, but he's going to help me consolidate. It means I can actually use my armor as a reserve. Ideally, we hold on to this. You're withdrawing soon. Very, very soon. Okay. This is probably the best I can manage. There is a lot of force actually concentrated there to keep the Soviets in check. And thankfully this is a time at which the weather will change. We'll pull back here as well, fortify our lines. We can do this, man. We can do this. Granted, a lot of you ran away, but we can hold here. Reinforce our position because that looks very dangerous. I don't like the fact that we can't move too far here. That's not bloody good. They're going to be driven back. Right, fall back to this position here. Okay, have you set a reserve? Do I have anything I could give the 5th Panzer Division? Sturm Artillery. Okay, we'll fall back to this position here. The weather is going to change shortly, and it will definitely save the day. Ideally, save the day. Their offensive power is definitely dropping here, actually. They do have a lot here, but this is actually very good. Unless things are seriously poor behind their front line, we may have seen the worst of it in the north. They obviously still have quite a lot of power built up in the far north here, but we do have new forces available. I mean, the Kurland is going to suffer massively. The centre is very weak. We have redeployed a lot of power here. But frankly, with these Panzers and Panzergrenadier divisions on the front line, this should blunt this. The infantry are going to bleed to halt this attack. They are going to absolutely bleed. But if they hold, they will do great service to the Reich. I may as well just move the artillery to the rear. Right, what I'm going to do is actually split up the Große Deutschland Panzergrenadier Division. Okay, we'll break them up here. Use them to aid in the defense. And I'll break the Panzers up as well. Okay, so we do have a little bit of armor on the front line here. It's nothing major to shout about. It's equivalent to an armored brigade. No, you haven't missed a turn as of yet. We've managed to actually somewhat address the situation, and it's the best I can manage here. This is by far the most armor that I have available, and is definitely in this location now. Our forces obviously... Yeah, I can't fall back too far here. Frankly, if I just hold this line here, just a turn, or just a little bit, just hold just for this moment, and the weather will turn. Move these headquarters back. Move to the front here. Right, level 1 fortifications. Right, reserve. Third SS Panzergrenadier can hold that location. It does mean I can actually move some of these additional forces. The 1st Infantry Division. I'll have you sent down here. Not that the command's really particularly mad to this point in time, but I'll have you reassigned. Right, fall back to this position. I don't know what's going to be on the 19th, actually. Okay, if this 2nd Hammerger Panzergrenadier Division, I'm going to move that down here to the south. The 541st is not combat effective. Vila? Whereabouts is that actually? Right, fall back. In historical terms, the Soviets are 3 turns behind schedule. Done it nicely. Right, move these forces over here. Okay, move the Luftwaffe back. Will obviously give us a better picture of what's going on the ground. There we go, we'll move the airfield here. Yeah, we're doing well enough in the center. It's been very difficult. Okay, do have additional forces I can move here, thankfully. And I do have some very strong divisions here. What I'm going to do is probably deploy them around here. There we go. We can need enough actual commands soon enough once the situation isn't as dire. But for right now, yeah. Right, move here. Start to actually help to dig in. They're still on ships, they can't move. We do have another division that has arrived, the 33rd SS Grenadier Division. And I can't move them via rail. The Friedrich Jahn Division. Jahn Infantry Division. How much do you cost to move via rail? I can't move you, unfortunately. Begin to march you. Right, if you have the ability to go on reserve, then it would be nice. Move you to the rear. These men are ready. At least we'll have a few good infantry divisions, or relatively good infantry divisions. Right, these men on the rear. Have them set to reserve. At least then they may join the battle. Shame I can't save them. Bromberg is some pretty heavy threat. I'm actually going to move the Warsaw Infantry Division here just to make sure this holds. The 1st Hemingen and Panzer Division can be set to reserve as well. I don't fear a breakthrough here. I think we've done what we can do. But frankly, it's up in the air as to what will happen now. The weather will change. And that's going to save us so much pain. But here we go, ladies and gentlemen. One more turn of absolute agony, and then the weather will finally change. And from there, I don't know what will happen. I think things will definitely become rather intriguing. We'll do our best. We'll do our absolute best to hold on here. Okay, immediately one division is routed. This is what I was talking about, but I felt like we were taking Panzers away from this area. Right, they do thankfully hold here. Thankfully. I don't think they will again. Oh, thank God you held. I've really weakened this section of the line. Oh. Großdeutschland do help out there. Not enough there. But still, we won't see them advancing too far here. Ideally. We are holding quite a few locations, that's fantastic. Now, we're not too far away from Lodz, where we spent a long time holding. Right, they're taking a lot of losses here. This is really good news. I think they've got a lot of infantry, sure, but... Right, hold. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I think holding on to Königsberg has really helped us out here. Right, we can see here the 24th Panzer Division does help. Yeah, the tank regiment was too weak. Right, we are holding. Thank you. Now that unit has over 100 defensive power. That's going to really hurt. Look at that. Look at that. 192,000 men. 5,000 pieces of artillery. 1,274 armored fighting vehicles. 270 fighters and 76 bombers. Oops. Should leave that. That's a big battle. Right. One division routed. And we are being pushed in the centre, but it's taken a lot of strength to do so. Right, we hold here. Right, if we hold them at the river line... Okay, they're forced to retreat. But that is an attack from 62,000 men. Right, routed, retreat, but we are going to hold them. We will hold this offensive. There we go, we're holding the shoulders there. 149,000 men. Right, we are forced to retreat, but we do hold them. Well, we hold them off. We do lose a lot of men there. But frankly, that's a lot of men that have just been wasted. The Tatra Panzer Division is routed, but this is it. They're not going to be able to dive deep into Germany here. Well, Poland. Ooh, wow, 3 units routed. Heavy losses. Heavy, heavy losses. They're not going to make it much further than this. They're just falling apart in the north. I really was counting on them to actually hold on. That port is now gone. Things are turning desperate here. But we do hold them. The mud will definitely help us out here in the north. At least it's going to give us a hell of a lot more time to actually evacuate. At this pace, it would be pertinent in the Reichstag. Indeed, pinned against the sea. Right, we're actually holding our positions here nicely. This, oh my god, it holds. Oh. Our goal, that's a good question. Our goal is to survive. Right, we are pushed back here as I can imagine, but we are doing very well actually. Yeah, that's very true. Right, they will be forced back, yep, as we can imagine. But this is holding them to account. It's holding them in relative static. I mean, yes, now it started to fall apart. But they've wasted a lot of their energy. They've used a lot of their offensive energy at this point. Yeah, look at that scouted. Indeed, hold at all costs. Retreat, routed, it will not matter. We'll hold until the war is won. Simple. Okay, the 24th Panzer Division do hold them back. Good job as well, because that would have left our units here cut off. Right, we're holding them. Right, our forces have held a hell of a lot better now. I think they're starting to finally find some resolve. It's not the crisis that we saw in the last turn, thankfully. I think the Reds are starting to run out of steam, to be honest. Only a few months more, and the first German nukes will roll off the assembly lines. Welcome back, Von Mulkey. Well, we're having a much better turn of it at this point. We are being pushed back in a few locations, but we're actually held in the vast majority. And the weather will turn next turn. Yeah, they're definitely holding on stubbornly this turn. As for that, I can't really... I just think these men definitely have seen what will happen. We've killed Zukov. Well, to be honest, Stalin might do the job for killing Zukov for us, should he continue to fail. No, I'm not as bad as Rommel. No, Rommel, it was interesting, but, I mean, at the end of the day, he did, yeah, not good when you run past your logistics. See, how would things have gone had the Allies actually walked into Berlin rather than the Soviets? That's a really interesting question. I can imagine the Germans would have been significantly happier. I doubt the Soviets would have been happy. Good, we're holding here. That was actually a good battle there. Right. Retreat and rout, but that's fine. We will hold this offensive. We've practically held it in place. Held. Yeah, they're taking some big losses now in certain areas. There's a lot of routed units here. The center is definitely weak. They can push me to a degree, but they can't push too far. Yeah, they've not been able to push here. They've gathered so much power, but it's just not been of use. They've not even reached the Panzers and Panzer Grenadiers in the second line. They're getting close. They are pushing through the infantry. Yes, we managed to bog down the Soviets with this sheer amount of bodies. Okay, further forces being pushed back. River lines are going to become virtually important now in the following turns. Now we have reached 8 o'clock, but we will continue streaming for a little bit longer. This is a bit of a bonus for you guys. And don't worry, the Korean mirrors that I knew got is probably not quite enough thanks. But it definitely is getting close. I'm just so glad that Königsberg is actually held. Ooh, our Panzers actually held there. 251 armored fighter vehicles, yeah, they're not going to be able to manage it. Never mind, they manage it. But still, we'll hold it. Right, now they're getting desperate. It's been a bloody affair in East Prussia. It's been a very bloody affair. That worries me so much. I'm so very glad that they actually did hold. The Munch should definitely help there. Oh man, definitely get playing it. Honestly, so much worth. So worthwhile in playing. I don't, well... It's one of those things, it's, would that information actually be circulated? Right, they've been routed. Looks like they've been forced out of the area as well. They may be routed back to Germany. I mean, that'd be great if they actually appeared back in Germany. Right, another attack on Königsberg. And we hold again, actually light losses to the Soviets. Oh right, they've actually appeared over here. We still hold on to the port, so we still might be able to save them. Routed and retrieved. But that's fine, we still have forces there. I think the combat width has decreased so much as to allow us to actually have something of a secondary line. But the war is not yet over. And for the reference, XTRG could use the white bar and show the front line of the state. The Oder River, Stettin and Breslau are already in Soviet hands, indeed. But we are pushed back here. That one could be expected. What we're really going to be doing now is we are going to be definitely assessing the situation in streams to come. Looking for where we can actually make use of the river lines. Like, they are making something of a breakthrough there, but that's fine. I have reserves plenty to move there. And we've been able to hold the attack here all the time being. Okay, another element of the Große Deutschland Panzergrenadier Division has retreated. And we'll have to reform the Große Deutschland Grenadier Division. I'd never get tired of saying that. To think that we started out around here, we've not been pushed too back, well, pushed back too far then. I mean, I'm glad that Königsberg still stands. I think that's really helped us out the north. Kurland is in a very difficult situation, but this is where the weather changes. The turns of bloodshed may be over. It's going to be bad, but it's not going to be anywhere near as bad as it has been. We've suffered mightily for 13 turns. We'll try to get our forces out from Kurland. And the weather has finally turned. Thank Lord. Right, okay. We can see here our losses are still high again. 33,685 men killed. 3,390 captured, 26,186 disabled. The Soviets just seem to like this number. They always tend to lose around about that number. 43,000 men killed. They've lost 697 armoured fighting vehicles this time. That's actually quite a decent number. But yes, here comes the mud. Thank you. Right. Our offensive potential is nothing. But their offensive potential is much lower as well. Yeah. This is where we just dig in on the river lines and we'll hold them. Look at that. This has definitely just brought the conflict to a standstill. Indeed. I actually have a decent amount of administration points now. Thankfully, I can get some of these troops out of here as well. Now that's only 1-1. That's about, yeah, there we go. That was their movement. So they have over 100 defense. So Königsberg, well, Königsberg is not going to fall at all. They simply can't do it. It's like, look at this, this has actually just brought their forces to a complete standstill. They can't advance past this. This is brilliant. This is, and our fortification works have begun. This is brilliant. I can actually potentially hold a position here. Yeah. Right, they have broken through here in the center, but the thing is we can rectify the situation. I have the advantage here of having interior lines, so I can move my men via rail lines if needed, so I can actually redeploy forces quite nicely. We'll take a look here, run the reconnaissance. Yeah, they really did try breaking through here. Okay. Hmm. I'll probably continue to fall back in certain locations, try to hold on. But we've managed to weather the storm for the time being. I'm talking as if the game has been won, but effectively with the weather changing, it means that we have a significantly better chance of holding on now. Yeah, they're a few losses. I mean, how are they going to attack? This is the question. How are they going to manage it? Considering the fact that now our divisions have so much more staying power to them. It's going to give us time to actually replenish. Which is brilliant. It's going to give us time to actually dig in as well. Definitely. Yeah. And hopefully the weather doesn't swing. Yes, forecast is mud. Even over here, so we should move our units now while we have the chance. Okay. Army Group Center Commander, General Albert George, and the Reinhardt. Political rating was increased to 7, so he's become more politically, savvy. The 12th army has arrived, the 8th Jaeger Division has arrived. The Führer Grenadier Panzer Division has been withdrawn. The 11th SS Panzer Army has been withdrawn. Okay, these forces were sent to the National Reserve. Okay. Ideally, we should be able to start to make up the amount of vehicles lost. So the amount of supplies has been reduced as well. I think we saw this some time ago, about 9,900, closer to 10,000. Now we're down to about 8,700. But at least there's not going to be too much movement, which is going to be good. You can see here, we've lost 174,804 men in combat. Obviously, yeah, a lot of that Axis attrition. 119,000 on the front line. The Soviets have lost 313,000 men. That's a lot. National morale's down to 48 at the moment. Indeed. But, ladies and gentlemen, this is where we call it an end. So thank you so very much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this. I apologise a bit for the rocky start. That's what happens when you press a button and you don't realise which one you've actually pressed. But if you guys have enjoyed that, you can find me over on YouTube, as well as Twitch. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave an actual link to my channel down in the chat, and if you guys aren't subscribed, it'd be great if you could go over here and join me. So until next time, thank you so very much for watching, guys. I hope you have enjoyed it, and I hope you continue to follow the series as it continues. I mean, we've definitely reached something of a very interesting point here, and from this point, it's going to be a different game. We've suffered so very harsh penalties here and harsh punishment. But let's see what we can give back to the Soviets. Until next time, goodbye, ladies and gentlemen.